What's
Hey,
up, man? How are
what's
you?
happening, y'all?
So you had a busy day, huh?
Yeah, man. It was Monday at work, and then got to do some studio stuff. So it's been a good day, been a productive day, anyways.
I got you. Well, I guess me and me and Matt were talking about like starting from the beginning, and then moving forward. But considering you were in the studio today, we can kind of work start with today. So what's going on? What are you looking to release?
Man, we've got a couple that we're working on right now. Working with Brett Robinson with the Alabama Sound Company. Uh, Brett played pedal steel for Whitey for 20 years, and he's got his own studio thing going. And it's worked out. It's 20 minutes from my house, so but Rich Henderson introduced us, and then so we've been working together, and we've got one song that we just cut final vocals on today, and then got one tomorrow that hopefully we can get it knocked out tomorrow, and then probably over the next few months we'll start getting them out.
Are you gonna try to? Is it? Are you gonna just be releasing singles at this
Yeah,
point,
so
or?
yeah, we've got. I bet we've got probably 20 songs that are halfway written that we're crazy about. We just inspiration's not struck to finish writing them yet, and I don't want to rush an album. I want the next album to be something that I love every second of it. So we're just gonna take our time, and when we got the songs is when we'll go in the studio and cut them. But we've got some these two that we're doing right now. They're just a couple of one offs that I really just want to get out and let people hear them. So very excited about them.
I got you. It doesn't really seem to be a right or wrong way to do that these days. It seems like in your area you can kind of do it as you please.
Yeah,
So
well, it's there's a lot of God. There's so much good music out there. You just it's hard to listen to it all. Honestly, I mean, we got 6 and 10 hour drives. Seems like every weekend. We've got about 40 that's in heavy rotation right now that we always listen to. And, a YouTube recommendation will pop up and be something else, turn us on to somebody else, and go down that rabbit hole for a while.
are you trying to get these songs out there just because of while things are kind of hot for you? Is that
Well,
kind of the
yeah, you definitely want to keep new music out, and it's been right at a year since we released anything, so I felt like it was time to put something out. And these songs, man, they're like I don't know how to describe them, like late '60s, early '70s, Merle Haggard ish. Like I'm excited for them. I'm very excited for them.
you, you can I can kind of tell it's it's coming across the screen. You do
Yeah.
seem like there's
Um,
a fire about the song, so that's cool. Um, I did see on your, I guess all your socials that you had a load of vinyl records come in for your last album. So if anybody watching this thing or listening collects and all of that, definitely check out all of that. I'm sure you got a store with all of that available.
we don't have them online yet. We will get them online. But they are available at all the live shows. So if you're playing in your area, come out and stop by the table, and we'll be glad to get you on.
Well, I guess we'll hit on that and then go backwards and start. What is coming up next for you? Where are you playing?
The next show is a full band show with Blue Gems in Scottsburg, Indiana, at the Ross Theater. That's going to be with my buddy Rich Henderson and a young guy named Keegan Hatton, very talented young fella. I played a show with him 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I was impressed. So invited him onto this show with us, and I'm looking forward to exposing him to some new people that I think will enjoy him. And then one excited about that one. We played there last year. Those guys, Double D Productions, they put on a good thing. They treat you right, and it's usually a good turnout. And then the following weekend we're at Eddie's Attic in Decatur, so I'm excited for that one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be with Rich Anderson too, but that'll be an acoustic show, so that'll those are fun. We don't get to do many acoustic shows these days, but those are fun.
I got you. The time I got to see you was you opened for the Steelwoods here in the Memphis area.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. That was
I was
a
at the Lafayette's music room.
yeah. That was a fun night. I remember Memphis. I remember after the show, we went to the IHOP. IHOP's open 24 hours a day, but that one wasn't. They were all in there. They just wouldn't open.
Yeah, there's always something interesting going on in the area for sure. Gotta love it. Um, Matt, you got a question?
Well,
If you want to go to
for
the
me, is I'm a huge fan of y'all Kentucky boys and what y'all are doing up there musically. I absolutely love it. Keep it going, 100%. I guess the first real off question, we'll go all the way back to the beginning with you, man. Where did music start from you? Did you start when you was a little kid? Did you start going into it as a teenager? How did you get into music?
I've always sang. As I mean, as long as I can remember, I would sing along to the radio or whatnot. I was a young fella, so like 4 or 5, but don't judge me too harshly. But Achy Breaky Heart, man, I was obsessed with that one.
Hey, we all were. We all were. I'm sure everybody right here definitely was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Uh,
It was,
it was a
and
big
then,
pop culture.
yeah, I mean, and he's a Kentucky boy,
Absolutely.
but I enjoyed that. I enjoyed a lot of the '90s country, man. I grew up on Travis Tritt and Alan Jackson and Clint Black, all those guys, Randy Travis, and
Can't beat it. Solid country gold. Ain't that what we call it?
absolutely, man. But
Absolutely.
started
Did you?
started singing, then started singing in church with my mama, and
I got you.
that's
That was my next question. I was going to say if your family is musically inclined, or is that something that you just kind of, your love, or is that you got other people in your family that influenced you that way?
no, not really. That my mama sang with me in church, but she didn't play any. She played the keyboard a little bit. I mean, every time we sang, it was a cappella. And then I've got a I got a third cousin. He's a pretty well known bluegrass mandolin picker. He goes by the name Frank Farley. He's played in a few really good bands, but I didn't really know him growing up. Met him later once I started playing music. But as far as the immediate family, man, nobody really sings or plays anything. That's why I'd always had a guitar growing up, and it was my senior year of high school. Going into my senior year of high school, I said I'm gonna learn how to play this thing. So I basically locked myself in a room for 3 months, and had a how to play DVD, learned G, C, and D, and had a chord book. Didn't learn E minor, so then I learned how to play "It Ain't Easy Being Me," and it took me all 3 months of the summer to learn how to play it and sing it at the same time.
And fingers hurt like a Dickens, son.
I'm
It just,
telling you, and I had like a $40 Walmart guitar, so the
and that
strings
made it
were off the
worse.
fretboard by like a good inch and a half, So you really had to work to get the sound
Oh
out.
yeah. Got them calluses, you can stick them to a frying pan. It wouldn't even hurt you now. You know what I mean?
man. And the crazy part about that is you learning Chris Knight that early, and that's probably still one of the songs you go to even to this day when you pick up the.
I still play a lot. Yeah, I don't. I've honestly about forgotten how to play that one, but like North Dakota and Down the River, I still play those all the time. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Chris Knight song.
Absolutely not.
Not at all. He's definitely on my personal Mount Rushmore for sure. I like sad songs, and if somebody happens to die in the song, that just makes it even better. He's the king.
Oh
He's the
yeah,
king of killing folks in songs. So
for sure.
Yeah, and he's a
When you
storyteller.
hear that D minor, that E minor, you know what I mean? You know it's fixing to get shitty. You know what I mean? You fixing to get sad.
Things
You
going
know what
down
I
real
mean?
quick.
um, so um, when did you first like play out? When was your first live gig, and how old were you?
um, I was in 2011 or 2012. It was my girlfriend then, wife now, Leanna. Um, she recorded a video and put it up on Facebook of me and a buddy of mine named Justin Griffin singing the song, and then we had a guy that seen the video reached out to us. It was RS Shaved Ice, offered us a spot to play, didn't pay anything, and which I didn't know you could charge to play in. And we went over to Millsboro, Kentucky. Played in front of about 10 people. 8 of them was family, and I was as nervous as a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. So that
I
was
can
where it
relate to
started.
that.
All them shaved ice. I remember it so clear.
Yeah, yeah.
And how old were you? Not
Ah,
to put an age on you now, but
23 or 24, I guess.
I got you. So you really didn't get started until
Mm-mm.
until later. That's
See, that's
About
what
like
impresses me
19.
so much about like Cole Chaney and Logan Halstead and those young guys and Jake Cohn, uh, to be that young and found their sound and their groove of songwriting. Because
I agree.
I guess I needed more life experience before I could ever start writing. But like those guys have my respect big time. To be that young and be able to do what they're doing, it's kind of mind blowing for me.
That
they
was going to
probably
be my
also don't
next
have those.
question.
They probably also don't have those things tying you down yet. As you get older, you got more reason to stay to stay at home. Uh,
You got
Younger, they're probably free to go do what they want to for the most part.
they ain't had time yet to go in debt or nothing.
They don't know any better. They don't know no better. So
That's right.
go ahead, Matt.
What I was going to ask is kind of when you got started with songwriting. Did you do it right away, or did you learn covers and do your favorite covers, and then kind of start writing? What inspired you to start writing that?
um, Honestly, it was I played covers for a while, and me and Leanne had been married a little over a year. And we moved into our first house together that we really couldn't afford the rent on, but we did, and we just sat around the kitchen table one night. I'll tell this when it shows. And we were drinking Southern Comfort, smoking Marlboro Lights. We don't smoke usually, but we do when we drink. We were drinking that night, so we smoking. And I said, I want to write a song. She said, well, let's do it. And she said, you want to write a happy or sad one? And my default's sad, so we ended up writing "Wish You I'm Sober" that night. And that was the first time we realized that, hey, we can write songs. Didn't think it was any good. It was still like 2 or 3 years before I played that one out in public. But, because you never
Got
think your stuff's that good, or I don't. I don't hardly ever feel that confident until get a few people's reaction to it. And you're like, okay, maybe it's all right. Because you always want to down yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's nature, I think,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it comes to putting your heart and soul into something and you write it and you feel a certain way about it and then you're scared to it's your baby, you know what I mean? You
You're
put it out
putting,
in the world and
you're
they
putting
say
yourself
a
out there
certain
to be
thing.
judged, man. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I
it's,
get it.
it's a tough thing for sure.
It is, for sure.
so so when you started putting those songs out like that and everything, and you got kind of a reaction, what was next when you started writing songs with your wife?
Man, it was so we did honestly we only had 2 or 3 at the time, and I think we put out an EP, but it was mostly like a $5 thing, sell at shows just to have something to try to make a little extra money at the gigs with. But we were doing the 3 and 4 hour bar gigs for 2012 to 2016 or 2017, and then cold business kind of went down, and I lost my job, and so we had to do something. So then we ended up moving down to Alabama, and when we moved to Alabama, I just kind of quit playing music, honestly, for a few years, for several years, and then it was during COVID. I had a buddy of mine say, "Man, you ought to put some stuff up on TikTok." And I was like, "All right." So I did that, and then put some covers up. They did okay. Then I put the first 2 verses of "Pills and Poverty." It wasn't finished yet when I put them up, and it had 100,000 views in like a day. I was like, "Oh shit, that means something to this."
That's where
Uh,
I found you for sure. I heard that video and I said, yeah, you know, it turned me
that
on
was
to you for
that was
sure.
another one of them. I doubted. I was like, "This song ain't no good," but I remembered what made me want to put it out is we wrote those first 2 verses in like 2018 or 2019, and never really wrote it down. But there it was 2 3 years later, and we remembered every word and remember how to play it. So that tells me it was something worth remembering. And then we ended up it done good on TikTok, and then figured out how to record in the spare bedroom and put it out as a single. Then we did the Son of Appalachia EP. Actually, 2 years ago today is when we put it out. So, and it's been
That's I mean
whirlwind ever since.
that's about
Oh,
as mom and pop and independent as you can get. I mean honestly that's the what I what I mean, I'll support anybody that's making authentic music, but even more in your situation and all the people, there's tons and tons of people trying to, do what you're doing, and that just makes me want to go, buy extra shit at the shows just because.
Well, I mean, that was the thing. Like, because I tell this story sometimes at shows, but it's a true story. Um, we got some momentum on TikTok before I ever recorded Sun Appalachia, the EP, and we had a record label reach out to us from Nashville wanting to. They didn't like my songs. They didn't think they were commercial, and I said, I agree. Thank you for the compliment. And but they wanted me to go to Nashville and write with their guys, and I just wouldn't. I said, I don't want to do that. I said, I don't. I'm getting on radio is not my goal. I said, God forbid we go and write a pop song that is a hit, and I got to sing it every night for the rest of my life. I said, that sounds like hell to me. I'm not interested in that. And he wished me luck. I didn't know at the time how much it costed to record like $2,000 a song on the, it was about the median on it, and I can't afford that. But I had credit, so I went and bought a MacBook and recorded those 5 songs. It took me about 3 months because I went back and forth. I remember coming downstairs frustrated because I couldn't hit one note just right, or I couldn't get the guitar part just right. And I mean, back and forth 3 months before I finally got it finished up. And I remember coming down multiple times and just looking at Leanna saying, "There ain't nobody even going to listen to this. What's the point?" And putting all this frustration. And she just kept encouraging me. And then finally we got it done and got it released, man. And it took off. It's led to a lot of opportunities. And it's not, I mean, it's not the best quality recording. I literally did it myself on a MacBook, and I'd have no idea how to mix and engineer a song, but it's just the acoustic. I think it's just the realness of it. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what it is. All the desperation and everything that you put into that, like I feel it to the bone, son. So you tell Miss Leanne, I love her. Thank you for staying on you, because the world wouldn't have seen what we seen. You know what I mean? And that would have been a shame, a damn shame in my eyes, anyway. I know everybody that. I mean, if it makes you feel any better, that song gets covered by. We're in West Tennessee, and that song gets covered by probably 6 or 7 musicians around here, including myself. So. And we always give our grace and say, if you hadn't heard from this guy, you need to go check him out. This is not my song and don't claim to be, but you need to go check this guy out because he does it way better.
Man, I always think it's cool, and I hope people feel this way if they ever hear anything I've covered of theirs, but I always think it's cool to hear how other people interpret your song or what they do with your song. Like it's weird because we were right here in this room when we finished writing it. So it's to hear somebody else cover it, to know that it got out to even that point to where they liked it enough to even put the work in to learn it it's humbling, really.
How was that when I'm guessing the first one you heard was Pills and Poverty, when you put that out and I'm sure pretty quick on TikTok you heard somebody covering it, like
It blew me.
how is that? I'm sure it's like the ultimate compliment.
It is, man, and if you take it any other way, then you're a dick. I mean, I don't, you know what I mean? Like,
No, you're right.
it is a big compliment. I think it was cool. It was, to me, it was the same level of excitement. Like, the goal is not to get on the radio, but if you ever hear your song on the radio, it's that same level of excitement for me.
Yeah.
It was.
I've heard musicians say that the ultimate compliment would be to be in front of 100,000. They're singing your song back to you. You know what I mean? I feel like that's almost that level. You know what I'm saying? You write something, you pour something into something, and to see other people enjoy it and cover your songs, it's almost at that level. I don't think it's quite there, but we'll see you there one day, Tim. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, hey, who knows what the future holds? It may fizzle out tomorrow. May not be able to book another show, but it's been fun. I'll say that.
Absolutely, man. You keep on doing what you're doing.
It's a fickle business, man.
For sure.
I can't even imagine, to be honest. But so you're still so your normal week would be your 40 hours on your regular job, and then
then travel.
getting in a car and being gone all weekend?
Yeah, man. So yeah, it's we've slowed down a little bit. Honestly, we've kind of went back to just doing a couple shows a month, just because I didn't have a break. Work Monday through Friday, and then which I got work for a great company. So if I ever need to take off on a Friday or whatever, so I can travel Thursday, they're cool with it and work with me a lot on a flexible schedule. But yeah, it's most weekends it's work Monday through Friday, go wherever we're going, whether it's Indiana, Ohio, Northern Virginia, or wherever, play the show, drive back either Saturday night or get up early Sunday morning, drive back, get home by 7 or 8, 9 o'clock at night on Sunday night, and wake up Monday morning, go back and do it again. It's
Yeah.
a lot of miles,
That's
man.
love and passion's what that is, man, for sure.
It's a lot of miles, Lord. I mean, it is. It's fun. You enjoy the shows when you get a good crowd and they are listening or they're singing your songs back to you. Like there is no other feeling that I've felt that compares to it. But when the adrenaline from the show wears off and you're on that long ass drive home, you're like,
Like
oh.
Yeah, yeah. The
the
shows
only
go
way
by just like that, don't it? I mean,
yeah,
just like wham.
the
Then you
only
think
way I
about
can
all the
describe
driving.
that to anybody is it's like the air going out of the balloon.
That's
You know,
it.
that's the yeah. Once you sit down, once you relax, you're like shit.
It
You
goes
know.
from the noise and the excitement of meeting people and people wanting to take a picture with you and just meet with them, and then dead quiet on the road looking at a black highway in the pitch dark for the next 7 hours or 8 hours or however long it is.
It's still way better than having bad gigs and then driving those those
Absolutely,
hours home.
absolutely. Yeah.
I'm sure you've had those, but
Oh God.
hopefully very few. So
Yeah, they're getting to be less, and that's uh that's exciting.
yeah.
Uh,
Who, as far as people that you grew up listening to, or that you admire, who are some of the people that you've had a chance to meet that you were, that your music has put you in a place to meet and you are surprised
well, the
or
Steelwood one, I didn't grow up listening to them, but I've been a fan of the Steelwood since I guess 2016, 2017, and we've went to a few shows, and I got the call to actually do a 9 show run with them. I thought that's cool. So I mean that was a really cool experience to get to hang out with the guys backstage and talk to them, and that was a that whole thing was a real eye opening experience. I just tell you, like, there is nothing glamorous about this. You're tired, you drive on the interstate, you get to the venue, you sound check, you play the show, you get back on the interstate, and you're going. So that wore me out, but it was just cool to get to hang out with those guys. And I got ADHD. You gotta look out for me. I'll skip and jump all over the place.
so you basically followed the bus around for 9 shows. Is that what you said? Something.
Yeah, yeah. We did 2 3 date runs. Then we had a one-off Thanksgiving weekend that year, and then we did the New Year's Eve show at the Caverns, which was a really cool place to play.
That, they're definitely one of our favorites for sure. I'm gonna go see them again this year.
So
I'm
actually,
forgetting when the date was, but they're tough to beat in the Steelwoods. Yeah, they're
Yeah, they're calling it off after this year, so
yeah, I've seen
I hate,
that.
I hate to hear that, but I mean, I got to go see them at least one more time. You
Yeah,
know, I was thankful enough to go see them with Rowdy and the original band, and didn't realize how blessed I was to get to see that. You know, who knew what was
mm-hmm.
going to happen, but man, I hate to hear it for sure, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I
so
mean that was one. Chris Knight, I got to open a show for Chris Knight. Uh, he's an interesting fella.
yeah, he seems like it. He seems like it. Yeah, but I'm sure that's nerve wracking as hell. No matter if he's standing there looking, if he's standing there watching or not, just the fact that you're on the bill, I'm sure is.
Oh yeah, it was very cool. I mean, we had some, you get to thinking about it because I mean, God, time flies, but and things kind of run together. But then you really start to think about all the opportunities. Like Nick Jamerson was Sunday Best, which a standalone. Nick's one of the best singer songwriters out doing it by far, and just getting to hang out with him because me and Leanna were Sunday Best fans back in 2012 or 2013. So
I just found their music not long ago.
really,
That Teardrop In like led me down that rabbit hole, and
got to meet him, the original singer of Teardrop In. We played a show in Virginia together, and super nice guy, man. He's like, it's that's one thing too I've learned is once you get in and you're playing pretty regular and playing different places and the people you run into and you get to know, man, they're just like everybody else. They're tired most of the time and just there to have a good time and play some music.
Right.
yeah,
Cool
I
experience.
got you. So when you got back around to making your last studio album, how did all of that come about, and where did you go to record it, and who played on it, or any of that
Uh,
information?
so Charlie Hatcher, who is Arlo McKinley's manager, and he also is the guy that puts on Healing Appalachia. He found me through Pills and Poverty, and him and my manager Jason are friends. And he asked what our plans were, and Jason said, "Well, he's got 10 songs that he's wanting to cut. We're going to do an album. We just didn't know where yet." And he said, "Well, let me make a phone call." So he calls back a few days later, and he said, "Hey, would you be interested in having James Barker produce it? You know, Tyler Childers steel guitar player." And we said, "Well, yeah." And then so Jason he put them in contact. Jason chatted with James Barker, and he said, James said, "I believe I can get majority of the food stamps on it if you want them." And they gave us a great price, man. We had Rod Elkins on drums and Jesse Wells on fiddle and 12 string and banjo and mandolin too some and Craig Berletic on bass. And it was just, and then Barker on pedal steel. So they just kind of come together, man. We had very limited time because they were getting ready to go on tour with Tyler in Europe. And so it was in January last year. We had 2 days set aside, and I was skeptical because I remember it took me 3 months to record 5 songs by myself. And I was like, "Ain't no way in hell we're going to get 10 songs that they've never heard recorded in 2 days." But man, they cranked it out. And I'm proud of it. I think it turned out good. And it was a neat experience for me to play with that level of musician, just because. And what I mean by that is, I would sit there and play through the song by myself acoustic, and they would sit there and chart. I'd play through it again. They'd start jumping in on it, and about the third time, they had it down. Like, that blew my mind. They'd never heard these songs,
Right.
and so it was some long days. It was like 12-hour days, but we got it knocked out in 2 days.
The whole how many 10
That's
songs?
crazy.
Yeah,
That
that's
blows my mind. I hear that. I've heard that before. People talking about that. How them studio musicians, and they're not really studio musicians. I'm sure Tyler uses them on all of his stuff. If I know, the way he would record, I would say that it's going to be just the same thing. It wouldn't be no other musicians, but it's crazy how they just pick it up like that, ain't it? Just
Yeah,
that quick.
and that's what they said too. Because the way we recorded it, the whole album was basically like playing a live show. So it was all,
Absolutely.
it was multiple takes, but it was one solid take all the way through. We didn't do any overdubs or, uh, like I did today. I went and cut final vocals, but we done recorded the track and everything. There was no overdub vocals. It was get it through on the first run through and move on to the next. It was, and they said that's how Tyler does all his recording. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I've read that. I read that somewhere, and that's why when you said that, I was like, I bet that's the rawest, best thing you can. I feel like, especially when you're gelled together like him and his band. I'm sure they gelled to you pretty good too, because you're unique with that. You remind me of him a lot with the way you play guitar and stuff, and I think to me, it's almost like a Kentucky thing. You know what I mean? Like all the hammer-on pull-offs. You know what I'm saying? The
Well, that's
extra
just me.
spice.
That's just me overcompensating for not being a very good guitar player.
Right.
I can do the hammer
But
on.
it sounds great though. That's what I'm
yeah.
saying, man. It
Like,
sounds great.
watch this shit.
Yeah, here we go.
So, but listening to that album, like I made a point to. I mean, I've listened to it many times before, but I made a point while I was at work today to put it on in the headphones, and that does not sound like a Tyler Childers album. So the fact that you know what I mean, they were not trying to copy
Uh,
another sound. They
His
played
tone.
whatever
Yeah.
it was to to fit
Hmm.
what you and your songs.
so,
That's a whole other.
so we met
That's
with them
cool.
about an hour before we started recording or jumped into it, and he's like, "What do you want?" I said, "I want just a country album. I don't want nothing super fancy. I don't want. I just want it to be when you hear it, you know it's country. That's what I want." And
Keep it simple.
yeah, and they
Goes
delivered.
back to the Kiss method. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Keep it simple, Steve.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So as far as your vocals, like who do you get? Tim Goodin sounds like. Who's the comparisons
Well,
that you
first
hear?
off, let's ask him this. Let's ask him this, just and see where it relates.
Okay.
So, if you had to pick one artist that you grew up and inspired you to really play music, who would you say that had that? You know, I know you're not like anybody, but I'm saying like that inspired you to play. Who would that artist be for you? Like that you can't live without, and you know that's your guy
Alan
or
Jackson.
girl.
Alan Jackson. Yeah.
There you go.
And I've tried to cover Alan Jackson. I can't cover Alan Jackson, but I sure love listening to it.
Understand.
So,
Okay.
so who do people sound? You know, so now going back to Soul's question, who do people think you sound like
I
when
get
you
Travis
sing?
Tritt a lot. I get Travis Tritt a lot, but then I get a mix between Travis Tritt, Chris Stapleton, and Ralph Stanley some, which is I said, well, you really giving me a lot of credit there because holy shit, what a list to be.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like those guys are all the best of the best.
Well,
So,
you can hear the Stanley or the bluegrass ending of your phrasing for sure. So
no
I
doubt.
would say more. I would say if I was to pick in those three, I would say the Tritt and the Stanley thing would be the two.
Yeah, yeah,
I've never heard
yeah.
it
I hear that.
before. I really, I bet. I mean, I guess some words, I guess in particular on some songs or something. But
The way you announce, the way you pronounce, like the
It's
way you
pro-
do your.
it's probably that you sing country music. in your-
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
true.
honestly, yeah. I mean,
That's true.
um,
hit them damn
well,
notes. I got.
you, you wanna play us something? And
Yeah, man, I
we
play
can go
music.
from there. It's up to you if it's a new one, an old one, or a cover, or whatever the hell you want to do.
We'll do we'll do one I know I shouldn't mess up. Don't mean I won't.
That's all right.
Let's do pills and poppers. Well, I'm home, first time in years. There ain't a thing left for me here. This town ain't nothing like it used to be. Taken over by pills and poverty. Walking around, oh, it seems so strange. I don't know the faces, but I know the names. Hollowed eyes of who they used to be, taken over by pills and poverty. Jobs moved out and the drugs moved in. Well, it'll never be the same as when I was a kid. It's hard to face a sad sight to see, taken over by pills and poverty. town's cleaned up, it gives a good impression, but the hills are full of hard-learned lessons. You stick around, oh, and you will see that all is lost, feels in poverty.
Good job, man. Thank you for
Good
doing
job,
that.
Mr. Tim.
Yeah, man, appreciate you.
So I know that song came about partially because of a verse in a chorus or whatever on TikTok, but um, yeah, that song definitely hits because of the one because of your voice, but two, we've all seen that in any small town life. It doesn't matter what part of the country you're in. I think we've all seen those eyes before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was uh, that was wild too because I mean I wrote it about inspired big time by my hometown and just people I've been to school with, people I knew growing up that that for whatever reason, and I ain't here to judge nobody. I mean a lot of it is bad luck, bad timing. Some of it's prescribed by doctors, and then they get hooked, and then it's just a rabbit hole from there that spirals down. And um, but to hear people from all over the country saying they would hear that song, that's their hometown. I mean, that's why it's sad, but
Yeah,
It
it's right.
seems like, too, and I don't know, maybe Tim can contest to this, but it seems like there's a lot of songs, and I agree. In my hometown, I think everybody's seen it, but like, it seems like there's a lot of like Eastern Kentucky. There's songs like that. You know what I'm saying? Like the not getting out of Harlan, and all the songs. It was kind of writ that way. You know what I mean? With the coal, and and it just I don't know. But
is it
I'm a
just hard?
sucker for it, man. I don't know what it is. All that desperation and everything.
I've heard a lot of people say there's something in the water up there, and it's not really that. And it's changing now. I mean, they're going into the tourism thing, and it's helping diversify everything. But I mean, really, where I grew up, if you want to make a good living, you've got three choices. You either or four really. You either go into the medical field, you go into the law field of some kind, or you go into coal mines. And if you don't do any three of those, then you go into the military. Otherwise, there's really not any opportunity there. And coal is like a roller coaster. It's you don't really know from one week to the next if you're going to have a job, or that's the way it was the last few years I worked in it. And it's a tough
Yeah.
way to do it. And it's tough people, salt of the earth people that would help you in any way they can. And it's just that, and there's nothing really else to do. So you usually learn to play music or sing. So
Yeah, I mean you're nailing it. I mean I'm from a small town as well, and it's the same way. You got two or three choices, and like you said, if you don't get a college degree, a lot of people here, we live right on the Mississippi River, so a lot of people work in steel mills, so it's a lot like the coal business. It's got its ups and its downs. So um, so we can definitely relate to what you're saying in the song. Is my point, 100%. And we all know those people that we grew up with in these schools, and they were this, they were that, and you thought they would go places in life, and you look at them and run into them at Walmart or whatever, at the Dollar General or whatever, and you're like, man, what happened to that guy? He got hit by a truck, you know what I mean? And
I mean, it's sad to see people that you grew up with that are good people, and it's got a hold on them, and it could be I know several that got hurt at work, and they got back in really when I was getting out of high school, 2006, 2007, that time frame, man. That's when OxyContin was big, and that's what really the opioid crisis. That was the OxyContin, and now a lot of things that come out are the blue collar areas of the country were targeted for OxyContin, and then government got involved and started shutting down the pill mills, which is they should have, but they didn't really give any alternative to the people that were already hooked. So then that's when they got on heroin and everything else, and it's just
they say, I mean, reading rock star books and all the crap that I read, I've Slash from Guns N' Roses, he was on heroin real bad. Well, he got off of it and was fine, and he said that that was the thing that he went to and got back on it because that's the most purest form of heroin you can do is oxycodone. It's like you don't have to chase it because it's going to be the same every time. And so pretty much that's the same thing is my point. So, I mean, and we all know that that's a terrible drug. Terrible.
Yeah, but I mean, at the time it was marketed as a less,
Painkiller.
less addictive painkiller. Yeah, that's it.
Right. Absolutely false. 100% wrong.
Every time I watch something on these pharmacies, it pisses me off.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Definitely with you. I know a few people that I'm not that much of a songwriter, but the few songs I have written are about people that are no longer uh, with us, and two of them are because of that. So, um, besides that song, what other songs have you, that you've written like that have those stories? I mean, I'm sure like Hard Times is probably one
Hard
of them.
times, and this hard times ain't about anybody in particular. It's just kind of an observation and really kind of an empathy look on it. Is you look at the third verse where it talks about me as the narrator of the story. How it's I can't judge my uncle and my cousin in the first two verses because I've got hard times too, and it's I was hoping that point we kind of get across too with it is that nobody is to judge anybody. We all go through shit. Some people just go on different levels than others, and it's more visible. But we
Absolutely.
all are dealing with things.
Are any of those stories true? If the people aren't true, is the story true?
The third verse is it's about my uncle Boyd. I wrote it in the first person, but yeah, that part was absolutely true.
That's cool. That's cool. Did he know, or was he?
Oh yeah, I call him my drunkle. He's my proud drunk uncle. I love it when I see him at shows, but my thing, Boyd is a very social person. And when he drinks, even more so. So I know when I see him at the show, I'm happy to see him, but I know he's going to be the one that's talking in the corner louder than everybody, louder than the music playing.
Hmm.
But I wouldn't trade him for nothing.
That's my nephew over.
Yeah, that's it.
I think we all have those people, even at the barroom level. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, what was I gonna say? Um, who are some people that like you get to meet a lot of people, and I'm sure you get music sent to you, or your buddies or the insiders of the songwriting world. Who are some people that are out there that maybe we haven't heard that need to be heard? There any young fellows or anybody out there that's under the radar that you would put your
Yeah,
stamp on?
I hate to go into naming names because I'm
I
sure.
understand. You're gonna leave somebody out. I got you.
I
Or
mean,
who are you listening to then? We can go that route.
yeah, let's see. Sierra Farrell is a big one on our list. We got tickets to go see her Thursday in Atlanta, so we're looking forward to that. Jake Cohn does a great job. Rich Henderson, if you've all listened to him at all, he's got some really
Hmm.
great stuff out there. Um, I got a buddy named. He's not really pursuing music, but to me, he's probably one of the most talented vocalists and guitar players and just songwriters. A guy named Anderson Ellswick. Look his stuff up, man. He is top tier.
Hmm.
We listen to Drayton Farley and Cole Chaney and
Cole, man, I had never listened to Cole's music, and I went to that Exit In show that 49 Winchester put on and did that, that music video and all that, and he opened up for them guys. And up until then, I hadn't listened to him, and I was completely blown away. I was more excited about that because I had never heard him, and it was just him. I can't imagine what he'd be like with a band,
oh,
with a full band.
he's phenomenal. We went and watched him in Birmingham 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month ago. I don't remember, but yeah, he's top tier, and he ain't but like 21 or something. I mean, he's young as can be. And then you got Jordan Lee King. I don't know if y'all have listened to him. He's a buddy of mine. I mean, probably,
I've,
in my opinion, he's top five songwriters out right now, singer songwriters out, man. He's listened to his song, which he ain't got a bad song, but my personal two favorites are "By and By" and then "Cars and Refrigerators." You'll really like, if you like Pills and Poverty, you're gonna like "Cars and Refrigerators."
yeah, that's the one that
Is that what's in the front
Spotify
yard?
led me to.
No, you listen to it when we get out here. Seriously, go look up "Cars and Refrigerators." You'll love it.
Got it. Will do. I'll do my homework. I'll report back.
I could name 30 that honestly we listen to. We keep a heavy rotation going. We listen to YouTube music. I hardly ever get on Spotify or Apple, but we go through YouTube and just let the playlist go where they may.
I was gonna ask that as far as when you're out on the road like that, or do you meet? I'm sure you meet people like that you just stand back and you know and just become a fan of as soon as they start or any of that stuff. I'm sure that's
I'm a
pretty
fan
crazy.
I'm a fan of a lot of their music, but I tell you what, really, what impresses me is people that are just genuinely nice. Like they're happy to be there, happy to meet you, and those people are who stand out to me. Adam Hood, y'all, I think you're going to have him home. We opened a show for him down here in Central Alabama. He probably don't even remember me. He might, I don't know, but I don't know. But he just super nice, super accommodating. We were the opener. I was the opener, and he had a merch table already set up. He moved his stuff down and made room for us. I mean, just one of those genuinely nice people. And I've been a super fan of his stuff ever since, man. And Red Clay Strays, we got to meet them last year at the Laurel Cove Festival, and Brandon's lead singer, super walked up to him and said, "Hey man, we're a big fan." And I pointed to Leanne, said she's a really big fan. And he first thing he did was, "What's your name?" and introduced himself and just sat there and talked to us, man. Like the genuine people, that's who impressed me.
No, I get that. The respect goes up even more. I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The hood definitely is that way for me. We've met him a couple times at shows, and Memphis is a tough place for singer songwriters for the most part, as far as getting the audience, and it didn't matter. He was always he was always nice. It didn't matter if it was 8 people or what. So, and
Well,
I'm sure that's not what he wanted, but
I mean, that's something we all deal with, right? You go to a show and nobody's listening, or it seems like nobody's listening, or they're real loud, and that's something that used to bother me like crazy. Like I'd get mad, like, "Damn, y'all paid to get in here," you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I've lost that attitude. I've kind of stepped back and took on a whole new perspective. Is I'm not playing to the ones that are talking. I'm playing to the ones that showed up in our listing, because some of them may have drove hours or whatever, but whatever it is, they've spent money to be there, and so I'm playing to those people, and that's just a perspective I've
Great way to look at it.
and it's made a world of difference on my happiness. I'll tell you that.
I bet so. Yeah, that's. I mean,
Great
I'm
way to
sure.
look at it.
I'm sure it is flattering when somebody come meet you at the merch table and let you know.
Absolutely, man.
We just
And them are the
drove up
ones,
from
too, that
such and such.
I'm sure that will spread your music further than anybody is the people like that. You know what I'm saying?
Those are the ones they're going to tell their friends or tell anybody to listen. I mean, that's how you build a career out of it, something sustainable that you get to do what you love to do for a living. Is folks like that show up, that listen, that buy merch, just spread your name out. It's a really cool thing to meet those people.
Man, you want to do another song and we can, then we'll ask a couple quick questions and let you do.
Do hard
You
time.
can-
Y'all brought up
you-
hard time. We do hard time.
You can do whatever you want to, a cover, a new one, whatever.
Cars and refrigerators?
I wouldn't do it justice. No, they had I'm trying to pick songs that ain't gonna get me up too high. My voice is about shot a little bit. So it took me 5 hours to get the final vocals for a 3-minute song.
Man, I bet that was rough on your voice.
got fried last Saturday night trying to steal copper from the power line. Cop showed up and told us how he died. Weren't none of us a bit surprised. Well, he's had hard times these last few years. Cousin Red started smoking meth from a pipe. All he could think about was his next high. Started stealing everything he could see in sight. He got arrested last Tuesday night. He's had hard times these last few years. Well, we've all had hard times through the years. Here's my drum verse. Lost my job up at the mines, got pulled over for a DUI. Cops hauled me straight to jail. Mama and Daddy had to pay my bill. Well, I've had hard times these last few years. Life ain't easy when you live this way, so I hear my knees and pray. Jesus Christ, save my soul, got me walking that narrow road. No more hard times, I'm glad to say. Yeah, a lot less hard times here on the day.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
Good stuff. If I don't light you fire, you wood's wet. You know what I'm saying?
That was,
So
that was one of them
I
songs
think
that felt
you
like
muted
5
out,
minutes,
bud.
man. I wish they was all like that.
For sure.
Sometimes
He don't know he's muted still. You muted still.
So I'm a professional, damn it. All the comments, there's folks in the comments talking about how relatable it is and all of that stuff. I got an uncle like that, and and then I saw the country music fella Ernest was in there for most of the song, so that's cool.
yeah.
For some reason we became TikTok friends. I don't know really still how that happened or why, but anyway, all right. So we'll do 5 little quick questions, and we'll let you get ready for your your Tuesday at work like the rest of us. So I know how that is, but and we'll save the most important one for the at the end there, Matt. So when you're not working or on the road, what is Tim Goodin's hobbies? What else do you like to do?
Well, it's usually catching up on the honeydew list and working around the yard, but sometimes I'm glad to get back on the road because it's a break. Man, it'll work me like a rented mule sometimes. But I enjoy fishing, man. My brother, he's got a boat and he goes fishing pretty regular. So any chance I can get to go wet a line with him and just have a good few hours of nothing, worrying about nothing, except catching something. That's what I
What do you
enjoy.
like to catch? You catching crappie? You catching bass? What you?
Oh, we got spotted bass and largemouth down here in Alabama, but I
I
enjoy
got you.
smallmouth up in Kentucky when we're that way too.
That's something I never got into. I never got to go smallmouth. I've always been a big largemouth bass fisherman, but I ain't never got. I'd love to sometime for sure.
It's smallmouth about like a spotted bass. If they got up to be 100 pounds, they'd be man eaters. They're mean.
That's right. That's right.
All right, Matt.
You gonna save it for last? Right now? Right now? Is this last?
No, save it for last. No. We got.
All right. So, if you had one dream guitar, Tim, like dream guitar that you could go and no money wouldn't matter. It could be a celebrities of your choice. If you had one dream guitar, what would it be?
Man, I just played it. It's It's been a
Martin
guitar.
HD 28.
Yeah, there's been a guitar that I dreamed about since I was first learned what guitars were and started looking into them, and been very fortunate and was able to get one this past year, and I love it.
Awesome. Awesome. Where'd you wind up getting that one at, if you don't mind me asking?
I bought that one off of Sweetwater. It was a scratch and dent. It had one little nick in it, but they knocked off like $600 off of it, and I said, "That's what I want."
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Did it have electronics in it, or did you wind up putting electronics in it, or do you even do that live?
No,
Do you
yeah,
just
they
mic?
had. No, it's got the LR bags. I don't know which one it is, but it's the one that's got the little.
Anthem.
Yeah, that's a. I
Yeah.
mean, it does great. It does good with feedbacks, but I wanted this one because it had the open tuners in the back. You know, it's modeled off of the pre-war. I'm a guitar nerd.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
modeled off of the pre-war Martins, and it just I've been wanting one. I've been when I say I've been eyeing it for a while. I mean I've been eyeing that sucker for a while, and it just happened to see that
That's
one.
my next guitar. My next purchase is exactly what you got right there. I own a few Gibsons myself. I got a J200 and a J45 and stuff, and I want a Martin HD 28. I played them several times, man, and I knew that's what you had. I just didn't know if that was your dream guitar. You know what I'm saying? I
Dang,
seen the herringbone, and I knew exactly which one it
guitars,
was.
man. J200. No, you say J45?
Yeah, yeah, I got both
Oh,
of them.
that's some dream guitars, man. I never played a J200. Rich Henderson, we was out at the studio one night, and he's got a J200. God, that's just a good sounding guitar. It's so rich sounding.
it it cuts through the mix, man. It's one of those guitars it's got its own voice. You know what I mean? It's what I guess everybody kind of develops an ear to what they like as far as what wood it is. You know, it's maple, so it's got real high and real low. It's real boomy. It doesn't have just a whole lot of mids. And if I want mids, you know, if I'm playing acoustically a lot, I like that J45 because it's got that mahogany, you know, that gives you them rich mid sounds, you know. But it's got its own voice, you know, and
You get you an
that's what
HD
you hear.
28. You get an HD 28, you won't regret it. I'll say that.
Yeah, yeah,
In my opinion, if you're fortunate enough to be in a position to get one that's it's money well spent, it's just a quality instrument.
absolutely, absolutely. Everyone that I've played, I've really liked it. Like I always said that, you know, like I'll go to Nashville a lot. You know, we're just 2.5 hours away. We go. I'd rather go there, not to blow any smoke at Soul, but I'd rather go there and be safe and come home to my family than go to Memphis and see a show a lot of times. So I'll go see a show there a lot of times, you know. And anyway, I got to stop by like Carter's Vintage Music and, you know, Grun, guitars, and places like that and be a nerd for a little while, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I'll never forget, and I don't want to go over. I don't know if y'all got a hard stop or not, but
No, 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 not at all.
me and Leanne have been married a couple of years, and it was her birthday weekend, and we went to Knoxville. I was supposed to take her out to Japanese, and I said, "Well, I need to stop at Guitar Center first." And we sat there for 4 hours while I was sitting back there trying to figure out if I could afford a J45 or not. And all I can say is that woman got the patience of a saint, buddy. I'm blessed beyond measure when it comes
Hey,
to
I feel you. I'd done the same thing. It wasn't our anniversary or not, it wasn't her birthday or nothing, but when I bought that J45, I did the same exact thing. Stayed there 3 hours, man,
well,
trying to make a decision.
you gotta play it before you know it. I mean,
Yeah, and I told them too. I told them, I said, if I'm gonna buy this guitar, I want y'all to bring every one of them that you got in the back. I want to play every one of them. I want to touch them. I want to play them. See which one I like the best. You know, I really like that Southern Jumbo with the way the pearl is in it and everything. But you know what? I picked up a J45 that sounded better to my ear. You know, and it felt better to me. So that's what I wound up with. A little cheaper, and she liked it better. You know.
J45 is one of them classic guitars, man.
Yeah,
First
man,
time
it's a
I
workhorse.
First time I ever really looked into a J45 was when we discovered Chris Stapleton. It was like 2013 or something. We found a video of him playing Whiskey and You on his old J45, and that's when I thought, man, I still ain't got one, but I'll probably end up with one at some point. I do like it.
Guarantee it. You gotta have one, man. It's your guitar arsenal, right?
So who was your first concert that you attended, and how old were you?
Shoot, man. So But to be honest, growing up, my family was not into music much at all. Growing up, they didn't do many concerts. We did gospel concerts and stuff like that. But the first show I actually like truly remember, and I was in middle school or freshman year, and it was just because it was the next town over, so it was like a 20-minute drive to get there, and it was a free show. I seen Mark Wills in Millsboro, and like that's when I Mark Wills is a phenomenally talented guy, great singer,
Singing fool, man.
and
Singing fool.
he put on a show, man. Like just a good entertainer. It was, without dancing all over the stage, like it was just a good entertaining show, and that one really stuck with me.
And how old were you then?
Ah,
About?
12, 13, maybe
I
14,
got you.
somewhere in that vicinity. I don't remember.
Yeah,
Exactly.
mine was Sawyer Brown at the Mid South Fair. It was like 1986 or 7 or something like that.
That was a
I
high
wish I
end.
could.
That was a
He's
high.
an old man, Tim. See, me and you the same age. I graduated about the same time you did,
I'm
2006.
I'm an '88 model. You went to your first
Me
show.
too, buddy. Me too, buddy. I'm
Yeah,
popping and backfiring a little bit. Pop, 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 you know what I mean? But I get there.
yeah, yeah. That was back before they had before the Mid South Fair was too dangerous to have in Memphis, as he was mentioned earlier. So we
Yeah,
saw, all the I think the last guy I saw there was Gary Allen. That's those $5 shows. You pay entry to the fair
the
and see
fair
these people.
for
Yeah.
free.
Saw George Jones there one night too. So,
Oh, that's
um, so what about? I know you're a busy man, but what do you watch? Is there you got a show that you or either a show or a movie? If it comes on, you're gonna stop and watch it.
Movies, we got the obvious answer of Tombstone. I think everybody agrees on that one. Then you got We Were Soldiers, probably one of my favorite war movies, and then Yellowstone's TV show. I tell you a show you need to watch if you got Amazon Prime. Clarkson's Farm. There's 3 seasons on there now. It's the best show on TV, man. It's so entertaining. I can't do
I
nothing.
hadn't seen that. I'm gonna have to go check that
Yeah.
out.
Look at Clarkson's Farm. Like it's funny as
Clarkson's
hell.
Farm and refrigerators and cars. I got it. Homework. Got it. All right, Matt. Hit him with the tough question here.
The tough question. All right,
Mm-hmm.
Tim. We ask everybody this. This has kind of been a staple on the No Name Radio Show. Please don't break my heart. I got a feeling you won't. But what is your favorite Little Debbie? Like your favorite Little Debbie of all time, and what is your least favorite one?
Favorite Little Debbie of all time. I've got a couple that are pretty high ranking. Man, I don't know if it's Little Debbie or it might be Big Deborah. I like the Swiss
My man.
cake rolls are pretty good,
Woo!
and then the oatmeal cakes. I like them a lot. And
Oh
then
yeah.
my least favorite, and it's not because it tastes bad. It's because I think I'm allergic to it. Because last time I ate it, my mouth felt weird. Was the strawberry shortcake roll up things? They taste
Oh.
great, but I can't eat them.
Yeah, yeah. You
Okay.
you wouldn't be known to eat a Christmas tree cake or nothing like that, would you?
Oh yeah, man! But I tell you, my favorite holiday treat of all the holidays is the Reese's Easter egg.
All the eggs. Oh
It's the
man,
perfect
there's
chocolate to peanut butter ratio. I mean, they should just keep
man,
it around.
perfect.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah, it don't get no better than that. I swear that if they don't make them year round, they stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, missed opportunities. I like that. We usually stock up
Absolutely.
on. We'll buy 4 or 5 big of those big individually wrapped bag or whatever.
Heck yeah, man.
A few months after Easter before we run out.
Well,
Absolutely.
man, I appreciate you hopping on. If any of your buddies ever are lined up to join the show, or you can warn them of our tough grilling questions at the end. It's really close to the CIA, but it's.
Well,
Um,
I have enjoyed it. It's been good talking with y'all. Look up Jordan King. I have a feeling once you listen to him, you'll probably have him on because he's.
I already got it pulled up right here. I put it in. I got it pulled
I'm
up.
curious
So.
to get y'all's thoughts on it. I think you'll enjoy it.
well, I'll
Absolutely.
play it on the show before we sign off. Before
Tim, it's an
um,
absolute pleasure, man, to get to talk with you tonight. I've been following you for a good while, man. Keep doing what you're doing, and I hope to see you soon for sure.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you
Definitely.
all.
Have a good evening, man. Thank you very much.
See y'all.
See you.
I don't know how to get out of here.
He's back. He's back.
All right, now see ya.
All right.
Psych, psych.